So these are some of the options you have for your classroom arrangement. The first one that you see is one large seminar. That's the class would be sitting in one big giant circle. This is optimal for beginners. If you have never conducted a Socratic seminar, we highly recommend that you start with one large discussion where everyone is expected to participate in the seminar. Another option is the inner outer circle, or what's also been known as a fishbowl discussion, where the inner circle is engaging in the dialogue and the outer circle is observing and taking notes on the seminar process as well as what the students are saying. You also have the triad, where you have students in an inner circle that are called pilots, and each inner circle pilot has two co-pilots, and only the pilots are speaking during the actual seminar. The co-pilots are in the outer circle and they only speak during consult times, but they are able to pass evidence to the pilot in case another pilot in the discussion has brought up a point and they have some evidence that they could add to that. And the last option would be the simultaneous seminars, where you arrange students into a few small group circles. They adhere to all of the regular guidelines and expectations of a traditional Socratic seminar, but you have 3 or 4 different Socratic seminars going on at once. We recommend this only for very experienced students who have absolutely participated in multiple Socratic seminars, are comfortable with this, and that you are comfortable knowing that these students will be able to self-propel their discussion and keep it on track and targeted and academically based, rooted in the text and evidence.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about classroom arrangements before we move on?
And although, just as Jennifer just went over the Socratic seminar in a traditional format, you have a little different options. You still don't throw away the arrangement, even though you get into a virtual slash hybrid seminar setting. It's just your circles may feel different. In a whole group or a large one, it's the same premise. Everyone has an opportunity to chime in and participate. I had the opportunity to do a Socratic seminar this past weekend at the National Social Studies Conference, and it was I was so glad. I was like, yes, because we're gonna have one coming up. So I was really excited about it. And they did a different way. Our whole group question, of course, our prompt or our question after we read our documents, and kind of got a chance to look at it and pull out some evidence and see some things we noticed about the document. We then had an opportunity, regardless, because we were all via Zoom. You could chat in the chat box, and or you could come off the unmute yourself and make comments, and we just kind of popcorned out. So you still had that whole class experience. It was just in a virtual setting. Then the next step of that process, what they did for us is that they put us in breakout rooms. So when we came out in breakout rooms, we actually had another document on the same topic, but then this time, for whatever reasons, some people were not able to unmute themselves and talk. They may have been in a situation where they were on a phone or some sort where they could not, but they were still responding to those of us that were vocal. And so we kind of had a little inner outer circle. Now, when we're about to show you a video of a hybrid model with students that are face to face and students that are on a computer, that is also a method for inner and outer circle, in that fishbowl, where the students that are face to face could be having that verbal, and those that are using their technology can be typing in, depending on how you have your classroom set, how active your virtual students can be. Your virtual students could actually be a part of the inner circle. So we want you to know that that is a case. If we're in a virtual setting, that simultaneous seminar version would be just strictly breakout rooms, and the same room, we would have our students in our breakout rooms, and then they would do the same thing. that they would be in a traditional format, only this time they're in breakout rooms. So these, we just want to let you know. Now that group discussion with students and the communication, that whole triad, that may be something that you would have to build up to. Not saying it couldn't be done, but it may be a little more challenging. But you may be, depending on how you have your students situated, what texting system or communicating system you're using with your students, that could work perhaps. But it is just, it would be a little more tech savvy to do that in a particular environment. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for a virtual slash hybrid setting just yet, unless you had your students, you have it really, really organized and planned out to handle that. Does anybody have any questions about the different formats in a virtual setting as far as the arrangements? Okay, we're going to move on.